Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Ex-convict gunned down by lone shooter in St. James. The St. James police are investigating the circumstances surrounding the murder of an ex-convict who was shot by a lone gunman in his community on Friday morning. The deceased has been identified as Junior Edwards, also called Coachy, of Bullock Heights, Somerton, St. James. Reports are that about 7:15 a.m., Edwards was leaving a shop where he had purchased cigarettes when he was pounced upon and shot multiple times by a gunman who later fled the scene. Upon the arrival of the police who were summoned, Edwards was found at a garage, lying on his side in a pool of blood. He was taken to the Conroe Regional Hospital where he was pronounced dead. Body found in Moby identified as elderly jerk chicken vendor. The St. James police have commenced their investigation into the circumstances surrounding the shooting death of an elderly jerk chicken vendor in Montego Bay, the parish capital, early Sunday morning. The deceased has been identified as 64-year-old David Garden, popularly called Dave, who was of a Barnett Lane, Montego Bay address. Reports are that about 5:45 a.m., the police were summoned by citizens who reportedly heard a barrage of gunshots coming from the direction of Howard Group Boulevard. Upon the arrival of the police, Garden was seen lying face down in a pool of blood along the roadway with what appeared to be gunshot wounds to his head. The scene was processed and the body removed to the morgue. A motive for the killing has not yet been established. Murder suspect held after confrontation with cops in Westmoreland. A murder suspect was apprehended and a getaway vehicle seized moments after the murder of a man in Maysmere, Little London in Westmoreland on Saturday. Reports are that about 10:40 a.m., one of two men in a white Toyota Axio motor car shot and wounded a bike taxi operator on Top Road, Little London. A policeman who was in the vicinity intervened, which resulted in an armed confrontation. The men escaped in the area, and the wounded man was transported to hospital where he was pronounced dead. The deceased has been identified as 47-year-old Oswald Brown, otherwise called Scatter, of Ebenezer District in Little London in the parish. Shortly after the incident, the police received a voice note in a work WhatsApp group about the vehicle that was involved. A team responded to the incident, where the vehicle and the suspect were seen. The suspect was immediately taken into custody and the vehicle seized. Head of the Westmoreland Division, Superintendent of Police SSP Wayne Joseph, commended the police officers for quickly acting on information that resulted in the apprehension of the murder suspect. This level of commitment and vigilance by my officers is unmatched, and I commend the team leader and the probatory constable who responded to this voice note as soon as it was received. My team of officers demonstrated what it means to be a force of good and principle for service above self, SSP Joseph stated. I must also extend appreciation to all the other team members, including my detective corporal, who intervened while the incident was in progress, putting himself at risk in the defense of law-abiding citizens. I want to take this opportunity to also recognize the role of our citizens continue to play in supporting the Westmoreland Police, SSP Joseph added. Investigations are ongoing. 2 Clarendon delivery men gone missing. Police in Clarendon are seeking the public's help in locating 2 delivery men who mysteriously disappeared in the parish on Friday, April 21. The missing men have been identified as 23-year-old Shane Bryan, otherwise called Blacks, of Treadlight, Clarendon, and 29-year-old Richie Jackson of Bucks Avenue, Maypen in the parish. According to the police, Bryan is of dark complexion, medium build, 5 feet 5 inches tall, and sports a plaited hairstyle. He also walks with a stagger in his right leg. His mode of dress at the time of his disappearance is unknown. Meanwhile, Jackson is of dark complexion, slim build, about 6 feet 1 inch tall, and sports plaited in the center of his head with bald sides. His mode of dress at the time of his disappearance is also unknown. Reports from the Maypen police are that on Friday, April 21, both men who operate in Maypen area met up at a popular location in the town. They left on a motorcycle headed for York District, Clarendon. None of the men have been heard from since. Anyone with information that they believe can help the police in locating these 2 men, please contact the Maypen Police at 876-986-2208 or the Police Emergency 119. JMMB warns customers of cyber attacks. Jamaica money market brokers JMMB is advising the public of an increase in cyber attack against clients who conduct their banking and investing transactions online. We are aware of an increase in cyber attacks being committed by fraudsters against JMMB clients who conduct their business online and invest in transactions. We implore our clients to ensure that they are entering their personal information on the official JMMB Bank Moneyline website. JMMB said in a statement on Sunday, adding that clients should bookmark the above website. Meanwhile, the bank notes a few tips to help customers verify the authenticity of website. They include: be sure to double-check the spelling of the website address before entering any personal information. Check the HTTPS in the website address and look for the padlock symbol at the end of the address. JMMB added that if clients are unsure about the bank's website address, they should report it to the JMMB representative by contacting their client care center at 876-998-5662, toll-free US and Canada 1-877-533-5662, or England 0800-404-9616, Monday to Saturday from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Sunday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Bail hearing delayed for 5 charges in import fraud case. The 5 people facing fraud-related charges in connection with the $222 million rocketed at the Institute of Sports in Sport will have to wait until next Wednesday to hear if they will be granted bail. The 5, Andrew Wright, Rodolph Barnes, O'Neill Hope, Janet Mills, and Andrea Picton, made their first appearance in Kingston and St. Andrew Parish Court on Friday. However, their attorneys were unable to apply for bail because the prosecutor handling the case was not present. It is a very sad day when lawyers for citizens are begging the court to have a matter listed for the question of bail to be determined. Fume Seymour Stewart, the attorney for one of the accused persons. He charged that it was clear as day that the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions had no intention of enabling the bail hearing on Friday. The 5 have been remanded until April 26, when the case is set for mention and bail applications. They are accused of being part of a team of current and former InSports employees who wrote, signed and cashed fraudulent checks for payees who were neither employed nor contracted to the agency. Wright, Barnes, Hope, Mills, and Picton are charged with conspiracy to defraud, acquisition, use of possession of criminal property, engaging in transactions involving criminal property, and larceny as a servant. The alleged fraudulent scheme spanned for a period of 2010 to 2017, according to the Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Agency. Domestic violence centers, a blessing in disguise, says DSP Dillon. Head of the Domestic Violence Intervention Centers, DVIC, Deputy Superintendent Jacqueline Dillon, says the facilities have helped to prevent or curtail incidents of violence in the communities in which they have been established. Dillon, who was speaking at a tour of the DVI centers at 100-man police station in Portmore, St. Catherine on Friday, described the centers as blessings in disguise, as they have made a huge difference in the number of domestic-related crimes being committed among the general population. The DVIC is a blessing in disguise, a blessing to the population, because we have had more incidents of murders had it not been for the intervention of the DVI care centers. We have had incidents of cases that are reported that are at a level, had not we intervened, we would have had a murder or serious injury, she stated. And it's not limited to the lower strata of society. We have all the way up to the top of the DVI. Really came at the time when not only JCF needed to have that facility, but when Jamaica needed to have that facility where they go for help and feel confident that what they go for help will be given. Dillon revealed that since their establishment, the DVI care centers have recorded an increase in the number of incidents being reported that have warranted intervention. The DSP said she is particularly pleased at the number of men who have come forward seeking help from the facility. She expressed that while men are reportedly the main perpetrators of domestic violence, some are also victims, and she is happy that those who are being affected have somewhere to turn for help. We had 2,000 reports in 2022, 1,000 this year before, and so there is a steady increase in the numbers coming to the DVI care centers. But what is also to note is that we have had over 2,000 men reporting domestic violence to the DVI care center, she said. Some of them just need to talk. Some of them are at a stage where they are breaking and they need help. If we're talking about men being the biggest perpetrators of violence, we must have facilities where men can go and talk, and the DVIC centers provide that for them. The Domestic Violence Intervention Centers were initiated by the Jamaica Constabulary Force to support victims of domestic violence. Starting in 2021, UNDP, through the European Union-funded Spotlight Initiative, supported the establishment of 6 additional DVICs, bringing the total number to 10 island-wide. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification